Is thinking about your hit points before you make a decision in combat metagaming? Recently, I got into a rather lengthy discussion with someone who was saying that since hit points don't exist in the D&D world, they are therefore a game mechanic, and therefore considering them is metagaming, and metagaming is bad. Before delving too deep into this discussion, and it is a deep discussion, let me just ask a question to anyone who actually thinks that. Do you have your hit points on your character sheet, or does your DM keep your damage and hit points secret from you and only tell you how you look and feel? Because if considering your hit points really is metagaming and all metagaming really is bad, then you shouldn't even know what your own character's hit points are. Because if you do know what your character's hit points are, you are going to take that into account when you make decisions. Should I charge in blindly when I have 1 hit point left? No! Can I charge in blindly when I have 100 hit points left? Sure. And there are a lot of tables that deal with the metagamey aspect of hit points by not knowing exactly how many hit points their teammates have. And instead will say, I'm looking rough, I'm looking about 50%, I'm looking bloodied. But almost everyone who plays knows their own hit points and uses that to make decisions. Why? Because this isn't a sim. D&D is not a sim. It's a game. It's a game with rules that we know and take into account when we play. So that's the first part. Now let's get into the actual question of, is considering your hit points metagaming, both for enemies and for PCs? It's true. Hit points as a system don't exist in the real world. No one is standing there knowing, I'm at 50 out of 50. But people know, I'm feeling really good, or holy crap, I've been stabbed 5 times and my legs are shaking, I can barely breathe, my vision is swimming, and I'm probably going to pass out, go unconscious, or die here if I get hit one more time. And that's what hit points represent. They represent how well you are doing. And we, as intelligent creatures, are able to tell if you are doing pretty well or pretty badly. Will an enemy know that they're at 48 out of 50? No. Will an enemy know that they've barely taken a scratch and they can keep fighting? Yes. So is thinking about your hit points metagaming? That really depends on your definition of metagaming. But if we do concede that it is metagaming, it is a type of metagaming that is acceptable, to think about your own hit points when making decisions in combat, because again, it's a game, and we consider the aspects of the game when we are playing. Metagaming is a problem when you use player knowledge instead of character knowledge, and it creates an unfun or unfair environment. Considering your own hit points does neither. The individual I was talking to also said, well, in the real world, a single strike could take you from fully healthy to dead with a sword. Yeah, that's because all of us are basically commoners. We're not dragons, we're not level 14 heroes, we're not grizzled veterans. We, sorry to break it to you, 98% of us are level 0 commoners. Of course a single strike would take us out because we have like 6 hit points. Now, if you at your table decide that you don't want the players knowing each other's hit points, totally fine, totally fair, totally fun. But I don't know if I would play in a game where I couldn't see my own character's hit points, where the DM kept the amount of damage and my total hit points secret from me, because that is the only way to really prevent metagaming by using your own hit points, is simply not to know them, not to see them. You, your character, have no idea that you have 23 total hit points, so why should you have that information as a player? If the goal is to remove all metagaming knowledge, then you shouldn't have that. Hell, you probably shouldn't even have most of your character sheet if your goal is to remove all player knowledge that the character wouldn't have. But again, it's a game. And the goal is to have fun, not create a sim. So, it's up to you and your table to determine what is fun. But to me, I see no lack of fun created by a PC or the DM controlling an NPC considering the hit points that character has before making combat decisions. It's just part of a game.